Welcome everyone. How's it going? Probably not good. Market's down again. Let's talk about that. Let me pull up my Thinkorswim. See here. Let me pull up everything here. Let me know in the chat if I'm coming in okay and I'm coming in clear, just so I know. Alrighty. So yeah, the market's down. Let's talk about kind of what's happening. So Tesla's sitting at 585 at the moment. So a couple of things are happening in my opinion. So number one is those stimulus news did come out. Hey Martin, Scott, too many fills. Awesome, thanks guys. Thank you, Mellow Yellow. So yeah, so since stimulus has come out, you would think, okay, everything's gonna go back to green, everything's gonna be fine. Here's the thing, a lot of this stuff was probably priced in. I don't think there was anyone that for a second thought stimulus wasn't gonna be passed. So there's that side of things, right? Another side of things is we're probably gonna be choppy up until the checks actually hit people's hands, is my guess. Because at that point, towards the end of March, and if anyone knows when the checks are actually coming, let me know in the chat. I feel like towards the end of the March, and I've said this for a little bit now, is until the end of March, we're probably going to just chop around. Tesla's sitting at $585 right now. Let me pull up my interactive brokers. So I mean, here's the opportunity. Here's the problem. Like I said, I think we're probably gonna theta is gonna be eaten alive for the most part. So if you sit on your hands, I think that's probably a wise decision just to keep your money safe for a little bit. Again, none of this is financial advice, but just something that I'm keeping an eye out for. Also, another thing to realize is the market is rotating. Okay, the market's rotating out of. Hey Tyler, welcome. The market is rotating out of a lot of stay-at-home COVID names, tech names, stuff with high PEs that was a little bit more fatty than value stocks for the last year. And now that the vaccine's rolling out, in my opinion, I think a lot of money is rotating out of tech and rotating into those names. So that's the second part of the thing. So first part, again, is going to be stimulus, choppy macro. We don't know. Second part is there's a really clear rotation of money out of tech and into banks, into airlines, into stuff that's more value oriented. On top of that, when you throw in, I'm going to pull up TNX on the side here. If you pull up the bond yield is now sitting at 1.6%. If you believe Cathie Wood, she thinks that we are going to be hitting 3% before we get rejected. If that's the case and we're about to hit 3%, we've got a long ways to go. It sucks to say, but if the bond rate was, and I can pull up the bond rate here actually in a second. If the bond yield was, and this is not a direct one-to-one correlation, but the bond rate was 1% on January 26th. On January 26th, Tesla was sitting at, on January 26th, Tesla was sitting at $900. So the bond rate was 1% back then. Now it's sitting at 1.6%. I mean, not a massive move in the grand scheme of things, but yes, it's definitely negative. Cathie thinks, though, we are potentially going to be hitting a bond yield rate of 3% before we get rejected. It just said it said on my interactive broker, it said order canceled, I think is what it said. Gotta make sure nothing's selling there without me knowing. So yeah, so that's something to watch out for as well there. So when it comes to Tesla, and let's pull up the 5-minute chart for the day. We saw a massive reversal in the morning. On Discord, we were talking right at open. Futures were red last night, massively 1.5%. In the morning, they pretty much became flat again. Then they rotated out. Then Tesla bottomed out, had a nice run to I think 610 in the morning, and then chopped off after. So it is what it is. We are chopping around this 585 area. Our pivot point is actually 590 for today. So anything under 590 is looking bearish for the day. But grand scheme, this is again where Oh yes, thanks for reminding me. Kathy Woods is coming on CNBC today, and actually talking about Tesla's probably price upgrade. No one knows for a fact, but it's potentially it's possible. It's possible. Let's see here. Been buying up Tesla. Awesome. CNN says you can. Oh, so CNN says that you can see the check in your bank accounts the day after he signs. Okay, so that's probably mid this week, I guess, right? Yeah, Bitcoin's been going up. Yep. Yes. So just before closing, thanks, Julia. So yeah, so I think an hour before closing, right? So okay, here's a curveball I'm gonna throw at you guys as a question. You guys let me know if this is potentially something. This is potentially something that you can keep an eye for. Is it possible? She has a 10% rating in, I think, ARKG or ARK, pardon me. 10% rating for Tesla. Now, her conviction, she said, has gotten stronger. The price has gotten it's actually reached her target, her bull target, I believe, for 2 or 3 years ago. Is it at all possible? And you let me know in the chat. I don't know. I'm just throwing out the question. Don't shoot the messenger. Is it possible that she is going to, or she has, reduced her percentage holding in Tesla? Is that possible? Is it possible that the majority of the share, but that probably doesn't make sense thinking about it right now, because she's come on CNBC and then she said that we've been buying a lot of Tesla. So probably doesn't make sense, but I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just trying to figure out who's dumping all of these shares, right? And on the bad news, no, she bought more. Yeah. So here's also the tough news is if we look at Tesla's delivery, if we look at Tesla's delivery schedule, it looks pretty tough right now because they just released and they delayed everything out till the end of the year. So it's tough. It's tough. No, she bought more. You know when ARK X is coming out, I think in a couple more months. It might take a couple more months. Yeah. She's been adding. Yeah, I just said that. So yeah, I'm just throwing it out there because I'm trying to figure out who potentially is selling. What potential curveballs do we have ahead? So I'm just trying to think ahead a little bit. Wouldn't she have to disclose it? Maybe. But also, she's coming out with a report, so she hasn't disclosed that yet. So we'll see. Hedge funds dumping for Jimmy. That's definitely part of it. I mean, believe it or not, that's a great point because Jimmy's sitting at $188 at the moment. And definitely this throws a wrench in the market. 100%. I don't care what you say. Leverage is thrown off. Margin is thrown off. People are short calls. So, I don't think so. Hey, Randy, how's it going? At Friday, she did 100K more shares. Yeah. Emmanuel says, I really don't think so. Fundamentals of the company haven't changed. So I don't think she'd likely sell for any reason other than maintaining. Yeah, that's what it seems like for sure. Michael Burry is dumping shares short. He could be going more short. That's definitely. I mean, that's a good thesis, right? Is potentially people are shorting here, but I mean, haven't you learned your lesson shorting Tesla? And the Nasdaq report. I'm gonna Google it for a second here. The Nasdaq short interest hasn't come out yet on Tesla. I checked. Actually, on Friday I checked. Let me just take a look here. Make sure nothing's come out. Let me pull up my screen so y'all can see it. So let's take a look at short interest on Nasdaq. So okay, yeah. So we haven't gotten our end of the month, end of February, beginning of March numbers yet. This is going to be something to watch out for. It's potentially very likely that short interest has gone up. Maybe dramatically, maybe that's overreacting, but that would definitely explain some of the amount of volume that we saw, I think, last week on certain red days was just interesting because to my knowledge, a huge percentage of Tesla is owned by institutions now, index funds, people with diamond hands. So the question is, someone with sizable amount of shares, like in the morning, 1.6 million at open, were like dumping shares. And this is not the time that, this is not when Tesla was at 650, 700. This was like last week. So I'm just trying to figure out potentially what could be happening here. Oh, in terms of the delays, so let's talk about the delays. So if you don't know, I saw this on Twitter today. Let me change my. I feel like I have to change country. So for the United States, Tesla has for the Model 3. Let's see if Twitter is a good accurate source of news. Saw it this morning. Okay, so it looks like it says 2 to 4 weeks. But I saw on Twitter this morning, and we pulled it up on Discord. Someone let me know in the chat. Maybe it was certain models other than the Model 3, but a lot of them now say June. 4 to 11 weeks for the Model S, so there's some delay here. Oh, you guys can. So it says 4 to 11 weeks on the Model S in terms of a delay. I'm guessing the Model X is probably similar in that respect. So let's take a look there. That could be the Plaid though. So no news that I've heard of Randy on the 7,000 tax credits. But that's going to be potentially something to look into. Hey Gentry, how's it going? Does anyone know what the Starlink ticker code is? No, there is no Starlink SPAC confirmed yet. There's some rumors out that it's PSTH. Yeah, I mean, it's a huge rumor. It's a huge rumor, but I am in PSTH. I have been for a couple weeks now before this. Could just be everyone thinking their future earnings are already priced in selling all that. Yeah, that could be Mike. That could be. ARK is not the number one test. No, they're not. I'm looking to buy in heavy this Friday and next week. That's probably a smart move, Gentry. Probably at the end of the week, we'll probably know more. Do you know when Giga Berlin is going? Yeah, last I heard from Giga Berlin was probably summertime of this year. Tesla's at 586 at the moment. Summertime this year, so we'll see. I mean, the kind of timeline everyone threw out was like July-ish. So we'll see potentially if it'll be around by then. I think that's what's being priced in at the very least. No, you got it. It was a short attack with Julia says with cover up, rebalance, and yields, all to stop meme stocks and of course make money. So the yield stuff it's quite obvious that there's an algo going, there's multiple algos going, where there's like a 1-to-1 correlation with as yields go up, they sell off high PE tech stocks. Or at least that's what it looks like. I'm not sure how it's been like. I think bond market closes in a couple of, or the bond market's already closed. So there seems like a 1-to-1 kind of algo there. So, I mean, who's to say we don't see a huge reversal by the end of the day on everything? It is a Monday after all, and you know, Monday mornings, Monday pre-lunch, Monday post-lunch are very different usually. So we'll see. Shoot paper hands. Apple is matching Tesla's dive towards 200 EMA right now. Yeah, that's tough. Apple. Apple, I am less worried about because Apple has a, you know, in terms of algos and pricing and stuff, Apple does have a decent PE, and Apple's not very far away from its 200-day. But good catch. It's about $3 away, so I might as well touch it to reclaim it for a little bit. Tesla, on the other hand, you guys know Tesla is quite a bit away from its well, not quite, but it's a little bit away. It's at 470, 480-ish is where the 200-day simple moving average stays right now. So by the time we chop around there, it probably hits 500, or that moving average hits 500. So whether we test or not is to be determined, but it's definitely a possibility. Like I said in my previous videos, it's not a terrible case for us to retest and reclaim these supply zones, just because it adds to the longevity of a stock and it adds to the supply, it adds to new investors. And if you own shares, I mean, just close your eyes for the next little bit and don't turn on your trader workstation and just let it be. You own calls and puts and stuff. Yeah, it's tough. Hey, Abel, how's it going? Apparently the Model X didn't have that delay. Oh, Sawyer corrected it. Okay. Thanks, Martin. Is there any news on Kathy? Yeah, probably end of the day we'll hear a little bit more from her, but we don't know if the update's coming out. What will actually determine stock prices this week? Treasury actions? Yeah, probably. I mean, no, sorry, Treasury actions, no. I don't think Jay Powell can say anything really that's going to matter too much. I think everyone's just kind of sitting on their hands waiting to see if inflation is real or not. Kind of the macro question. GME back in the game, up 45%. Yeah, it's hilarious. But GME screws the market every single time. Let's see how that goes. No one wants to buy U.S. debt, says Gentry. We're trying to sell from COVID stimulus. We're spending for cheap returns. Tech or growth stocks go down. Yeah, I mean, there's a valuation reset for sure that's happening at the moment. But the question here is, and I'll move it into the 1 minute graph. The question here is not whether or not, sorry, let me rephrase that. The question isn't whether or not we go down or we chop. The question is, when does the bull run begin again, and whenever we hit bottom, right? Because technically speaking, we could have already hit the bottom at the moment, but we spend the next 2 or 3 months chopping in and around here. It doesn't help anyone with options, right? So the question is, when does the upward trajectory begin again? And I think a decent answer to that question is, I've guessed probably the end of March. We have 3 weeks to go till then. Maybe when tax season is over, as David says, yeah, it could be possible. But I think we'll know it, but we're not there yet. At the very best case scenario, we probably chop around here for a while. Tesla delivery delays didn't make the news, right? Is it the chip shortage, I wonder? Yeah, I just saw Sawyer's tweets this morning on Discord. That's where I'm getting that news from. Dow seems to stay up there. Yeah, don't even worry about the Dow. Here's the problem with the Dow. Dow is quite literally the most rigged indice out there. They take the stock price and if for example, if a stock does a split in the Dow and Apple goes from 600 like it did in the past to 100 or 200, well, now that Apple's down the same percentage but less magnitude, Dow doesn't reflect that properly. So for the most part, like, I never look at the Dow. For me, I look at it like a scam indice, metric wise. And you'll even notice on days where really brutal stuff happens, the Dow is still up, right? But it's just magnitude wise. Yeah, S&P is good to look at. And then in terms of what we're looking at tech wise, definitely the Qs, the NASDAQs. Isn't there a talk about extending the tax deadline? There is. Yes, there is. I saw that on Discord as well last night, but as a Canadian, it doesn't really, I didn't look into it too hard. Let's see here. We need the end of quarter so institutions can take profits. Well, so we have, obviously you guys know, this third Friday of this month is quadruple witching again. It's also obviously options expiration. Third Friday of every month is options expiration. So coupling stimulus with the infrastructure package, with just general bond yields rising, it seems as though our maybe short term, medium term, if I'm not sure how long term you guys think, but our target date for some sort of digestion of a move might be option expiration this month. Yash, did you hear about Tesla battery? No, Gadge. If you want to fill me in, that'd be great. Not sure what you're talking about there. So, and that's why I wanted to go live today. I don't want to wait till Power Hour. I wanted to go live and just talk through this a little bit. Tesla's at 585 at the moment, just because I think, I think we're all tired of waking up and everything being down. So, in summary of everything that we've said so far, I think the GME stuff is definitely throwing a wrench into everything. I think the stimulus stuff and just general uncertainty of if this is good, if this is bad, if this is going to lead to inflation, bond yields rising on top of that, and then thirdly, the rotation from tech that we've seen so much money be poured into in the last year. the rotation of money out of tech, out of COVID names. I'm not sure if Tesla's even a COVID name, but if you talk about high PE companies that are tech oriented, Tesla fits the bill. Zoom fits the bill, for example. Like, and Zoom is, let me just check what Zoom is doing today. So Zoom is, oh, Bingo's up today. Sorry. Zoom is down. Exactly. So Zoom is down 5%. It's no coincidence that these tech companies with high PEs that have had a lot of money sink into them in the last year are now, I'm not saying coming back to reality, but they're now having a valuation reset is the best way to kind of look at it. So that's the way I look at this right now. Yeah, exactly. I think we're all done with these moves. Like waking up, and it's not about like we're still holding everything, right? It's just it's fatiguing to chop, but it's expected at the moment. And I think, all you guys have been on the channel. I see a lot of familiar names here, so you guys know that we've been talking about chop, and I still think we're gonna chop for a while. Again, that's why shares win right now if you own shares. So I would wait until, I mean, do what you need to do, but I would probably wait until options expiration to figure out longer term positions again, just to see when this happens. Gadge, no, I didn't get the link. Oh, did you send it on you Discord me yet? I don't see it. I'm not sure if you're on Discord, but let's see here. I think Gadge is talking about a set of batteries being plugged into the grid. Oh, to help. Tesla batteries are helping with the storage problem. Interesting. Okay. Honestly, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I don't think any Tesla-oriented news at the moment, FSD, really. I mean, this is why there's discrepancy. This is why there's opportunity in the market. And I just got your article here pulled up. Here. I really don't think any news at the moment is going to change any of what we got going on, just because, like nothing can really change macro at the moment. Nothing can really change macro at the moment. And while people dump NASDAQs, just ETF, QQQ, there's nothing that we can kind of do here. So it's saying Tesla's plugging in a secret mega battery into the Texas grid. The utility-scale battery located outside of Houston will connect to the same grid that faltered in the February freeze. Elon Musk is getting into the Texas power market with previously unrevealed construction of gigantic battery connected to an ailing electrical grid that nearly collapsed next. Interesting. This is why Tesla is an amazing company, right? They're not just an auto company. If someone says they're just an auto company, send them this article. Winter storms. Yeah, that was last month. Tesla spent years expanding into residential energy. Yep, for sure. Solar is a massively underappreciated part of the stock. Absolutely. Interesting. About 2,100 megawatts of battery storage and 37,000 megawatts of solar and wind are in advanced stage of connecting to the grid. Jesus. It's not only stunning, but the financing is already in place. Wow, that's nuts. Great article. Is it going to matter for the stock price in the short term? No. In the long term, yes. And that's what you have to look for. That's what you have to look for in mispriced opportunities in the market, is when stuff like this goes under the radar. FSD goes under the radar. Beta goes under, like that stuff is going under the radar because of what's happening in the macro. And if you believe in the future that they're creating, these are times where you can kind of accumulate those shares. BC Hydro. That's hilarious. I'm gonna still buy the Tesla dip. Yeah, I bought a little bit today again, but there's only so much I can do, for God's sakes. I'm holding tight at the moment is kind of my general prerogative. So we'll see. I did sell some bear call spreads, so I sold some call verticals out the money for this week. I think $700 was still giving me a good amount of premium. I think I sold the 720 call vertical spread and I got like $2 from it. So I mean, pretty decent. So we'll see. We'll see. Tesla has $20 billion on the balance sheet. Yeah, for sure. Well, I still think they have some debt, Harry, but yeah, I get what you're saying. And they're free cash flow positive as well. Another news just came out, says Gadgets. Tesla Semi rumored to start production in July this year. Nice. Interesting. Well, there we go. There's the Semi news. Is that going to make a difference right now? I don't know. Let's see. Yeah. What time period do you consider long term? I mean, that's a good question. If you ask a true investor, they're gonna say long term is between 5 and 10 years. Undoubtedly, at least 5 years is long term. If you ask a trader, long term is like 2 months, not even, right? So, to answer your question, I'm somewhere between 10 years and 2 months. All joking aside, I'm probably, I would say at least 2 years on Tesla, because I think in a year anything can happen. We've seen it with COVID. You don't know. A year is still like, anything can really happen. Most recessions don't last longer than a year, really. But I would say probably 2 to 3 years is my. Dry powder is scarce. Yeah, I feel that. R Singh says, I feel me too, bro. Yeah, so that's the thing. Do you agree with Gary's valuation of FSD? Mick, I haven't dived into his FSD valuation. So I don't know if I do. Gary, Mr. FSD is only worth 60% after 4 years. What do you mean by that? So wait, he says FSD is only worth 60% of what we pay for. So 10 grand, so 6,000 in 4 years. I don't know. Once Tesla Semi uses FSD, it's game over. Yeah, David, that's a great point. Long haul trips, everything like that. So Kathy's coming out, and let me just do the math. So she's coming out in an hour and a half. I'm gonna jump off for now. I wanted to come on. Yeah, by the way, are you guys okay with streams earlier than Power Hour? If it's okay if I come on, like I'm trying to try some new things with the channel. I'm just gonna come on as if there's when there's news. Come on when there's stuff that I need to talk about. Power Hour, stuff like that. Like, are you guys like? Yeah, okay. So to answer a lot of problems that I've been facing. If you guys aren't getting my notifications with and by the way, I've had like 10 people message me, so I know it's a YouTube error. It's not you. Hit the bell to unhit the bell, and then hit it again, and that's when you'll be actually alerted with me going live, because I have another YouTube account. I've subscribed to myself, I've hit the bell, and I didn't get alerted for my live stream. So sorry about that. You might have to re-hit it, and hopefully it fixes it. Yes. Okay, awesome. I will definitely stream anytime. Perfect. I don't want to get your hopes up, but I might do like a couple of streams a day type of thing. Just like keep content coming, do more videos, more content, stuff like that. Potentially even come on for Kathy's live. We'll see. So this is not like an end, but what I'll do is I'll come on as there's kind of news. Tesla's at 583 again. So as we kind of capitulate, hopefully here, we'll keep it real. So I won't just be coming on for Power Hour. It seems like you guys like the earlier stuff too. So let's do it. I'm available, and hit the bell to get alerted. If you've already hit it and you're not getting alerted, unhit it and hit it again. When is Kathy live? She's live at 1 p.m. or no, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. Awesome, guys. Awesome. Love it. Much love to everyone. I'll catch you in the next stream, and we'll have a better condition going on for everyone. All right, guys. Peace.